Hey guys, and welcome back to another edition of The Power Play here on WDSR Student Radio at Duquesne University. Today with us, we have, actually we're missing a member of the show. So our good friend Jake is filling in once again for Chris.
Hi, Jake.
How's it going, everybody?
And I am Katie, and I'm also joined by...
Hi, guys. It's Daisy. What's going on?
All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Some league leaders... Sidney Crosby scored his 100th point last night in the game against the sloppy game, but big milestone for him. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also give you a preview of the NHL playoffs. Why did I say NFL? I don't know what I'm doing today. Anyway, preview of the NHL playoffs if they were to start today. The matchups are out as if games would be starting tomorrow. So we're going to look a little bit at that, make some picks, and talk about playoff dynamic a little bit. And then also give you a preview of what's coming up in the next 2 weeks as the regular season wraps up here very shortly. So starting off, like we said, last night, Penguin game, very sloppy play by Pittsburgh. But... scored one goal, and because of Crosby's assist on that goal, he now has 5 seasons where he has reached at least 100 points. So I don't really want to talk too much about the game. It was a little painful to watch.
That was painful.
Yeah. So, but no, if you want to just look at Crosby's season as a whole, he has had a very fantastic season despite the way the Penguins have been playing over the last couple of weeks.
The only person with as many maybe not consistent, with as many 100-plus point seasons is Lemieux with 10. I thought that was interesting when they brought it up last night after he scored his point. So that's a pretty big deal. He's second only to Lemieux. I don't know who I'd rather be second to if you're not first.
Yeah, he's in very good company with that title right there. And it's setting him up very well for MVP contention at the end of the season. And but not just scoring 100 points, but just his overall play from the 2013-14 season this year. It's he's very deserving of that award.
He scored that 100th point with the assist, and he's also leading the league in assists with 64. Yeah. But Thornton with the Sharks is very close behind with 63. But I mean, if you're looking at the leaderboard and assists, I mean, I'd rather be leading in goals, which is not Crosby. Obviously, that title right now, leading title, goes to Ovechkin with 48.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody's going to catch Sidney Crosby in the point race. He's basically running away with the MVP at this point, and nobody's going to catch Ovechkin. And the closest person is Corey Perry, who has 39 goals. He's 9 goals behind. And let's be honest, Ovechkin is carrying the Capitals.
Yeah, Crosby only has 36 goals.
Yeah, he really is. But I think what's most important, though, is like you said, yeah, he's carrying a struggling Capitals team right now. And I don't really think that they're really not in playoff contention right now. But he has the team on his back right now. And Crosby, he's what was he, like third, fourth in the overall goal total, but
fourth. When
you look at the caliber of the Penguins team, I think it kind of makes more sense whenever you look at those numbers and how that team is performing, and they've already clinched a playoff berth. But
that's very true when you think about it that way.
Yeah, they have a very, very strong core of players with a lot of talent on the Penguins, whereas Ovechkin is pretty much standing out as a one-man show right now.
The team on his back.
Yeah. But yeah, looking at some other point leaders and NHL leaders right now, the other thing that kind of stands out to me is when you want to look at goaltenders' number of shutouts. Tuukka Rask is leading the league right now. And that really doesn't surprise me too much either, because Boston is playing hockey on a whole other level right now. And if he can continue to perform the way that he has, Boston is going to make a very serious run for the Cup this year. But that's not just goaltending, but that has obviously been a big part of it this season. That whole team is just phenomenal right now.
Just to go back when we're talking about the stats thing, one thing that blows my mind is we said Ovechkin's leading the league, carrying a struggling Capitals team with 48 goals, and it goes to show. He is number 1 in goals and dead last in plus-minus. He is a negative 36.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, It's amazing how stats work out. I mean, at least this isn't baseball where they keep stats for every little minute thing that happens in the game. But yeah, that's kind of interesting, and he's that low on the plus-minus scale.
Yeah, and then looking at goalies, I mean, nothing too surprising. You're looking at basically the same couple goalies all in all the categories: goals against, wins, shutouts, save percentage. You have Rask up there, Corey Schneider, Quick, Varlamov, Bishop, Niemi, and for the Penguins, the only thing that they have is Fleury with 5 shutouts.
That's still pretty impressive, though. I mean, when you look at Tuukka Rask has 7 shutouts, and the next, I guess, they're all tied for second place or in that race. They all have 5 shutouts. So, but yeah, you're right. Even the goalies that did not make that top list, a lot of very good goaltending going on around the league right now.
The most surprising thing to me is Antti Niemi with the Sharks. 37 wins. Didn't really hear too much about them, maybe a little bit last year, but I feel like Niemi is really, not like Ovechkin putting the Capitals on his back, but definitely been a huge asset for the Sharks this year.
Yeah, the Sharks have had a very good season. You know, I foresaw them making the playoffs. I thought they've been playing very well. But I do think a big part of their overall success has been Niemi. And, you know, looking back on earlier in the season, there were times when I feel like he kind of carried the team on his back. So he definitely deserves some recognition in that. And number of wins, I don't really think says a whole lot about how well you are as an athlete or as a goalie in this case. But it definitely is worth mentioning that he is right up there with some of the best of them.
Yeah, I mean, but at least with the Sharks, you're getting Pavelski out there with 38 goals. I mean, he's in third place for goals, and like we said, Thornton's got 63 points, one behind Crosby. So at least they're getting some help out there in front of Niemi.
Yeah. At least unlike Washington, the Sharks actually have a decent defense and offense in front of Niemi.
They're very well-rounded.
They are a very well-rounded team. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why I don't know if they would go all the way to the Cup final, but I do think that they are going to make a push this year for the Cup final. And that'll lead us into, if the playoffs were to start today, what the matchups would look like. So we are 2 weeks away from the NHL playoffs, and as of right now, we'll start with the Western Conference. Dallas would be playing St. Louis. Chicago would be facing the Avalanche. Minnesota would be matched up with Anaheim, and the Kings would be taking on their neighbors, the Sharks. So I'll turn it over to you guys then. What are your picks for the Western Conference? Who would win each matchup if it started today?
Oh, each matchup. I know, Jake, you had really a strong thought about Chicago and the Avalanche.
Yeah, I mean, the Avalanche are sitting there with a season series right now against Chicago being 4-1 Colorado. Maybe they don't get Kane and Taves back 100% like Quenneville and the rest of the club is leading on to be. Maybe they're not 100%. I don't know. The Avs are good. They're a scary team. Varlamov leading the league with 38 wins this year. And I don't know. I could see them beating Chicago. But then again, in another light, Chicago's poised. They're a playoff team. So I don't know. It'd be an interesting matchup.
I can see. It would be interesting for me to see Dallas over the Blues. I'd like to see that. And personally, I'm not really sure. Like Jake was saying about Chicago and the Avalanche, I can see it going either way. Like right now in their season series, the Avalanche are up over they've beaten them, the 4-1 in their series this year. So that's very interesting. Everyone pretty much has the same amount of games left to play. Chicago has 6, Colorado has 7. So pretty evenly matched there in anything that they have to still do and still get accomplished before the playoffs actually start. Chicago has 42 wins, and the Avalanche have 48. If you want to factor that in, they're pretty evenly matched with points, 99, 102. I mean, it's a tough call.
Yeah, I think in that matchup, it's really going to depend on who brings their A game every single night, because Chicago is, as you said, they're a very poised team. They have playoff experience. They're a good playoff team. But the way Colorado has been playing this season, it's going to give them a run for their money. And like you said, when you match up, Colorado has won 4 out of the 5 matchups that they've had against Chicago this year. And I know we had talked about this in previous weeks, but based on the team that Colorado is, and like we said with their goalie leading the league right now in wins, if they don't get Kane back, I think that may end up hurting them if this matchup were to actually occur. I mean, I think Colorado's going to have to pull out all the stops to go a 7-game series against a team like Colorado right now. So if I were to pick, I think I would have to go with Colorado in that matchup.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely my upset in the Western bracket. But getting back to the original question, honestly, I would put a lot of money on St. Louis getting the job done against Dallas. I don't think they're going to go down in the first round. They're a deadly team, offensive, defensive, goalie, the whole 9 yards. Like I said, I like Colorado. I'm definitely going to take Anaheim over Minnesota.
Oh, definitely.
Anaheim is a solid team. I mean, they got some great guys out there. They get great goaltending play. Just a full, well-rounded team. Other than that, to the Sharks in LA, I don't know. That's my toss-up. I think that's a 7-game series right there.
Could go either way.
Could go either way. So, personally, I think I'll take Quick in LA. But that's definitely a 7-game series.
I think for me, I would. I don't know. This is gonna be tough. Obviously, I'm going to pick Anaheim over Minnesota. Definitely, Anaheim has been a very strong team all season. Like they've been blowing my mind as far as the Western Conference goes. Minnesota, yeah, they're good, but against the Ducks, that's just I don't really see them surviving around going with the Ducks. But kind of like what Jake just said, yeah, LA and San Jose that's a toss-up. I do see that going a full 7 games. And I don't know. LA is a good playoff team, but San Jose has been playing great hockey all season. So kind of like what I said between Colorado and Chicago, I think it's going to come down to which team brings their A game every single night. And if both teams are both on top of their games, that's going to be an exciting series to watch. I actually really hope that matchup happens in 2 weeks. I would love to see those teams go head-to-head. It's kind of a shame that they have to do it in the first round, though, because one of them's not going to make it. But,
right.
Yeah, it'll be an exciting start to the playoffs.
I can't bet against Johnny Quick and the LA Kings. Even San Jose, with as solid as they've been and as well-rounded as they are this season, I can see it going into a 7-game series. But Quick, I can't go against him. Did you see that his amazing scorpion save the other night? Like he's phenomenal. And I think with all of the players bringing their A game, it might come down to goaltending. Niemi, Quick, that would be interesting. I really hope this happens.
Especially in that series, like you said. Quick is a fantastic goalie, and I think when you're looking at the statistical numbers and what these goalies look like on paper, yeah, Quick is not really in the top percentage of goalies as far as, which stats they keep and stuff this season, but he's almost kind of the one that flies under the radar. So when you're looking at the goaltender matchup, yeah, that just adds a whole nother dynamic to that series. And if that actually happens, that's going to be the one everyone is going to want to keep an eye on in the West. So moving on to the Eastern Conference. All right. Well, we'll talk about the Eastern Conference when we come back from a quick break, guys. But make sure you're following us on Twitter, too. We are at the Powerplay 14, and we will be right back on WDSR Student Radio.